Welcome, welcome. We're going to be talking a little bit of balance changes. Of course, there's a lot of videos already out there about that. I got a script here in front of me that I'll probably be reading off of, just my notes on it, just to make sure I don't forget anything. And I do have some different opinions than what is already out there. But yeah, these balance changes are due out Tuesday, January 7th. Totally pumped about the buff that's going to be happening, but we'll save that for last. It's pretty straightforward. I think a lot of people were at least hoping for it, probably expecting it. I wasn't sure if they were going to do it, but I'm extremely happy that they did. But anyways, let's go ahead and get to the nerfs. We know about the EGolem already. We knew the Night Witch was going to get nerfed. Those were guaranteed. So the 6% in HP reduction for all forms, I think I'm a little meh about that. I do, obviously, as everyone thinks that the EGolem did need the nerf for sure, but I wasn't so sure that it needed nerfs on all of the HP reduction, at least on all forms. I think that was a little much in my opinion. The problem with the EGolem, again, is the blobs. When those things popped, the 4 did so much damage. I actually would have liked to have seen a rework to the card. People were asking for that more so, whether it's just, the way the elixir is distributed to the opponent, after the blobs are killed, things like that or whatever. But actually for me, and I could be way off on this one, I don't think I've ever heard anyone speak about it except for myself, so I probably am, but I feel like the way that, and it's kind of a rework to any card, like the golem, even, anything that pops, and the way that the defending troops actually retarget to another troop, I think that is the issue. So my thought there is if the blobs pop, that the defending troop, whatever you're using to defend that, will still stay locked onto the EGolem blobs, as opposed to switching targets to something else. I think that would actually help greatly. That's the rework that I actually would have liked to have seen. Forget even the nerfs, right? I don't ultimately know how that would play out, but I think that if that rework was in place, I think that's at least something they should, maybe they've already beta tested it or something, but that's something that I would definitely like to see at least tried out. So, but yeah, we knew that was coming, so let's just go ahead and move on to the Night Witch here. So I actually feel, again, she was going to get nerfed, but I personally feel like they nerfed her the wrong way. I don't think her hit speed, I don't think the initial bat spawns, I'm not saying that nerfing those things wouldn't help, but I just don't think it was the right nerf. The nerf that needed to happen was the death bat spawns. I think a lot of the community is saying that, because that was the hard part about, in particular, the EGolem with the Night Witch was very difficult, but it really was the death bat spawns. I think that was really the hard part, because typically people are going to run probably 2 spells. Most people run at least 2 spells. If you don't have poison, I mean, it's likely that you're going to have already used zap, or who knows, and that's really, the opponent just needs to outcycle that. My point is trying to take care of even with poison, it can be challenging if you don't place it correctly and it doesn't completely kill the Night Witch and the bats. If you mess up that play, then it's probably going to be game over. If they make you use your little spell, something like that, it's going to be game over. So the difficult part about that was not anything initially with her and hit speeds or any of those things. It was, to me, about the death bat spawns. That's what needed to be nerfed. I don't know if maybe lowering it, a couple or something like that. I think that would have been better, but I almost would argue that can still be too much. I don't know, right? Like, just something on that, to me, is where the nerf really needed to be. So, but yeah, moving on. So lavahound, that was a shock to me. It's probably to many. And I do feel like overall this is, based on the way that it's played, it's an overall buff. Obviously there's some things that are being nerfed, but it's an overall buff here. So, I'm trying to read here my notes, but yeah. And so I feel like the range being increased, meh. But the increased damage on the pups, they're gonna lock onto the tower. If you play a person who knows how to play Lava Loon, obviously is one of the big ones, if not the only one that at least I ever see. But they're going to lock on. They're going to, and when you place your troops to defend whatever it is, even if it's, if it's arrows, obviously that's good. Going back to my last video, I still feel like it's another thing where they're really trying to work arrows into the meta, any meta decks or must have kind of card. You know, I'm going to certainly start running them after these balance changes. But anyways, the point is those pups should lock on. You know, now I'm talking about it though. It will be interesting to see, you know, if you save your arrows for that, you probably are going to be safe, you know. But again, the range and those types of things, I'm not really overly concerned with. I really just feel that it's going to be the increased damage on the lava pups. That's going to be huge, right? It's almost like reminding me of this whole like executioner thing, right? Where they just like they go very, very bold and strong in some direction, just I guess to see how it works. And so whereas they are calling this a nerf, to me it's more of a buff. And I honestly feel like the community is now going to start screaming for executioner to have some type of a buff now again. Maybe they did this on purpose to kind of just, you know, play both sides, right, for a few seasons and just sort of balance those cards out. But it's going to be really tough. And now, you know, it kind of makes me sad because Lava Loon out of besides that or 2.9, you know, I don't like face and Lava Loon decks, and that's just typically because my decks, the deck that you guys see here on the screen, I can usually win, you know, because I can always pressure opposite lane, you know, things like that, defend okay. This particular one, usually I run Furnace. I don't have a building in this one, using Mini P.E.K.K.A. Just feel like I've been finding more success with having some kind of a defense like Mini P.E.K.K.A. But anyways, I'm not too worried about it, but typically lavahound, if I don't play it correctly, right, if I let them build up, it's really a challenge, you know, for the type of decks that I run to beat it. So especially now, like I said, without running a building, you know, things like that. So but that's it for the nerfs. Obviously, now getting to the buff, the only buff I care about. I can care less about any card. I was so sad when they nerfed the Fisherman. I understand why, and Supercell gave a great explanation on why they did and why they're bringing him back to where he was basically. But let me get my phone here. I'm actually so close to, and this is why I was working on it. I just need one more, and I'm going to be able to max him out. Obviously, we'll do that. I'm going to be running the Fisherman with the skeletons as my primary ground defense. At least it was super strong. I have found lots of success with it, and typically you can get a good positive elixir trade with that type of a defense, and you still may even have a Fisherman on the map there to be able to still utilize. So anyways, of course you guys can read it, but you know the buff was, you know, going back to his, you know, 7-tile range, which now you can activate King Tower, you know, with Hog Rider, things like that. And then the hook charge time increased to 1.5 seconds from 1.1 second. Obviously that's better. That's a nerf. You know, at first glance you might be like, hey, that's a buff. At first glance you might think that that's not good, but it actually is, because he was pulling troops too fast and too often, and it was really hard to synergize that with your deck. So I'm super excited about it. I'm very, very pumped to get him. I still got to get him. He won't show up in the shop, or I don't have a trade token, but as soon as I do, I definitely will be maxing him out and using him and bringing that gameplay immediately. I'm going to use him in a Hog Rider deck of some kind. I'm thinking about swapping out. I'm going to continue to use, I'm so glad, by the way, Magic Archer was not nerfed. I think that there were some rumbles about that. Finally maxed him out, you know, and invested all those star points and everything. And so I was a little nervous when I was hearing some rumbles about him possibly getting nerfed. So anyways, I'm probably going to swap out Mega Knight in this hog deck. I'm going to keep Miner, going to throw in Poison. I'm going to run a building as well. So we'll see. I'm going to tweak a few things once the balance changes are live, and I will be playing a lot of battles, and then hopefully once I find one that's pretty good, that I'm finding some success with, I will make another video and kind of bring that to y'all. So but yeah, those are my opinions, and tonight will be a lot of ladder pushing, so I'm gonna work on that throughout today. And again, I'm gonna utilize this deck. I'm at 59 right now, I think. Yeah, so once I hit around 6,000, you know, give or take some, I'm gonna then, and find some consistency, I'll create another video and upload one tonight. So until then, hope you guys have a good one. Peace out.